Have you ever paused to consider how fragile a morning really is? We awaken from the madness of dreams, hoping the real world will give us a sense of order and a reassuring predictability that dreams or nightmares hide. Every morning hides that invisible thread between ordinary and unimaginable. How a day can begin exactly the same, until suddenly it doesn't. Coffee dripping, a zipper tugged too hard, a cartoon voice echoing from the living room. The kind of morning that feels forgettable until it isn't. It was October 5th, 2012, Westminster, Colorado. The leaves were changing like bruises ripening on the trees, and 10-year-old Jessica Ridgeway was walking to school. She was small, just over 4 feet tall, and wore her hair pulled back like a girl ready to race the wind. Her backpack bounced behind her, heavy with notebooks and half-eaten snacks. She took the same path she always did, past the corner house, soon to be adorned with Halloween cobwebs, past the mailbox that leaned like it was tired of standing. But this time, she didn't arrive, and this time, the silence screamed louder. Her mother thought she'd made it to class. The school thought she hadn't. Hours passed, then a day, then 2, then something surfaced. A backpack placed deliberately in a neighbourhood miles away. Inside, Jessica's belongings. Still zipped, still intact, still whispering, and then what no one could prepare for remains. Found in a park, as if nature itself was trying to return her, as if the trees were mourning something they couldn't explain. But who could have done this? What kind of person removes a child from the world like deleting a song from a playlist? The answer was so ordinary it bordered on obscene. His name was Sigg, 17 years old, lived just a few blocks away, not a man, a boy, but not a boy like Jessica, not innocent, not light. Austin had been fascinated by death since middle school, not in the way goth kids write poetry in spiral notebooks. No, he studied mortuary science, watched dissection videos, consumed violent pornography like it was his curriculum. He built fantasies that didn't stay in his head. He tried to abduct a jogger once, months before Jessica. Tased her, fumbled, failed, but he didn't stop. Do you know how Jessica died? He attempted to end her life using zip ties, but when that failed to be effective, he manually strangled her. This means he used his hands to cut off her ability to breathe. To ensure she had died, Sigg then submerged her in a bathtub, a deliberate act to confirm she was no longer alive. Do you know what he did after killing her? He went to class, to community college, sat there while his hands still held the memory of what he'd done. And days later, when the guilt thickened like wet cement, he cracked. He told his mother. Can you imagine that moment? A son, face pale with something deeper than fear. A confession pouring out like acid. A mother dialing 911 with shaking fingers, turning in her own child, not for punishment, but for justice. Or maybe redemption. Sigg confessed in detail. He showed police the basement where it happened, where her last moments lived, where her voice was silenced. And still the question chokes. Why? Why do some minds bend that far? What collapses inside a person to make cruelty more appealing than kindness? Was it loneliness? Rage? Rot? Or was he always going to be this? He was sentenced to life in prison plus 86 years. He'll grow old behind bars, aging in reverse, from teenager to ghost. But Jessica, she's the one we remember, not for how she died, but for the hole she left, a silence shaped exactly like her. And here's where it gets darker, doesn't it? Because this wasn't in a city known for crime. This was Colorado. family meetings, pumpkin spice lattes, where your neighbour helps you shovel snow in your kid bikes to school. We tell ourselves monsters wear masks, that evil is